Alright, hey guys, and welcome to Chocobo Bites, a channel dedicated to small, bite-sized Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis guides. Today I wanted to talk about Mad Anchor, a fight that might be a bit confusing if you're unfamiliar with his mechanics, and if you're just jumping into him for the first time, it will definitely probably confuse you as to what's going on. So I'm going to break it down for you guys, tell you the gimmicks, tell you what you need to know so that you don't have to be embarrassed when you join co-op partners in the game, because it is a little confusing if you're unfamiliar with how this works. So as you can see, he has a weakness to fire and wind or arrow, but this doesn't actually mean that he's going to be weak to that during the fight at any given moment, and this is very important to understand. He has the typical immunities, so he can't decrease his magic attack or his magic defense, but I will say that bringing a character like Barret into this fight and doing his buff where he raises the physical defense of all three of your characters is also a pretty good character to bring in if you just simply cannot build one of the example builds that I'm going to show you here today. So his main gimmick is threat assessment. So this means a few times during the fight he will scan your party, and during this time he will pick a character at random and determine, okay, this is their most powerful ability, I'm going to gain a resistance to it. So what do I mean by this? So let me just show you an example build. I'm going to show you Tifa first, because most of you probably have Tifa, so it'll probably be a nice easy one to show you an example of. Now, she has the only wind weapon in the game that does single target wind damage. Zack and Lucia also have wind weapons, but they are multi-target, so Tifa by default will do a lot more damage to Anchor because, well, it's a single target enemy. So it's very important that you bring a wind weapon and then a fire weapon, but you need to make sure that one of them is physical and one of them is magic, and that's why Tifa's great, because she just gets that physical by default in her weapon. Now, why do you need to do this? Because when he scans you, he will essentially decide, okay, I'm going to be strong to gain immunity to physical and win this time. If he scans my Tifa, for example, he'll notice that my Sonic Spiral is probably the most powerful thing on my kit, and then that's when you bust out your magic-based fire. So this is why it's important that you have both a magical and a physical of wind and fire on your loadout, because when he gains that physical wind resistance, that's when you start busting out your fires, which are magical element, and he will take a lot of damage due to this. And then occasionally, let's just say he scans a party member and they see that they have a fire materia equipped as well, then they might gain resistance to magic and fire, and that's when you start using Sonic Spiral. Now, what can happen on your team is you can have a character. I've had an instance where a Cloud brought in nothing with wind and fire, and it scanned the Cloud and it gained water resistance. So that means we were able to just unload with whatever the heck we want. Let me just show you one more example before we head into a example fight to show you all of these mechanics in action so you can be prepared. Red is my main character, so he is very loaded right now, and I do occasionally choose to bring him in instead of Tifa when I'm not looking to level her. So as you can see here, because I don't have any kind of weapon with fire damage on Red right now, I choose to opt for Fire Blow. So this is my physical fire, and then Aurora, which is my magic winds. So depending on which one he scans, I will always have a way to counter what he does. So what do you say we head into an example fight so you guys can see this in action and see what I mean? Okay, well, I got my example fight, and as you can see here, we've got 3 Tifas. So that Tifa over there seems to have a fire ability, a wind. Okay, I didn't catch the rest of it, but it seems like they have a general idea of what's going on with the gimmick in this fight. And I'll show you how this plays out, because towards the end of the fight, we actually got a Cactuar. So I'll use this opportunity to explain. Towards the end of this fight, the Anchor will actually break down, and it's during this time where you want to unload limit breaks, or you want to use your just spam your abilities, because when he breaks down he takes a ton of damage. So actually bringing Ifrit into this fight for that crazy fire damage will just instantly kill him at the end of the fight if he does actually break down. Alright, this is during the Cactuar event, of course, so get a little bit of extra experience here. I'll take this time also as well. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I just started it up. It's brand new, so if you enjoy small, bite-sized, concentrated guides on specific enemies and such in the game, that's what I plan on doing here. Alright, let's turn off auto. So, you can sneak in a little bit of early damage, before he is able to gain his threat assessment. So now he is scanning the entire party, determining who he wants to gain resistance to. In this instance, he chooses Wind Barrier. So this is when we break out our Fire, because guess what? He probably scanned me with my Sonic Spiral, which is physical wind. So now that I have Fire equipped, as you can see, he has physical resistance icon there and wind resistance. So I just want to keep spamming Fire, and as you can see, he has a weakness to that. He decides, okay, that's too much damage. We're going to scan you again. And you can sneak in a little bit of extra damage here before the new weaknesses take place. And now he gains a resistance to wind, magic, and fire, just like I told you. He will alternate, so that's why it's really important to bring in one of each. Right now in the game, there is no arrow below, so you will need to bring a arrow magic every time, and then just make sure that you're equipping a fire blow, and you'll be good. And you can use this build on any type of character. Tifa, definitely, if you have the Sonic Spiral weapon, then you definitely want to be using that when you can. Okay, now he is gaining Wind Barrier, so guess what? That means that we go back to Fire. And we'll finish this fight off just so that you are able to see how he might break down at the end of the fight. The Tifas here are choosing to limit break. Not completely necessary. I think eventually a lot of people will start not even doing any limit breaks until they get some like really powerful ones, because the animations are quite long and we can't really skip them. Alright, he's preparing analysis. He should break down here, unless we kill him quick enough. Oh my goodness, I had it in defense mode this whole time. Silly me. Didn't even notice. My team must think I'm crazy. And he didn't even have time to go into breakdown mode because we took care of him. My first triple Tifa team. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found this guide useful. Like I said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, because I will be putting out more mini guides like this in the future. Thanks so much for watching Chocobo Bites. See you in the next one.